I noticed something going on here over the past week and a half. Number one, nobody's talking about the Women's Royal Rumble, but outside of the ring, there is a major war going on in women's wrestling. Deonna Purrazzo goes to AEW. Julia is apparently going to WWE. Mercedes Moné is now apparently going to AEW after saying no and then getting turned down by WWE. Kamille from the NWA is apparently going to WWE. Serena Deeb, we saw her promo. She's apparently back in good graces with AEW. She's going to be back on the scene. Jade Cargill just got sent up to the dungeon, the Heart Dungeon, and she is training up there. Dude, the women are getting to be more important, and we are now going to see the women's divisions in both major companies being escalated like you would not believe. What is going on here with the ladies in professional wrestling?
You know, it's been, you know, the last few years, the women get more of the spotlight. You see more of them, you know, more main events involving women. And it's and yeah, this year, you know, look, there was a lot of free agents hitting the market on January 1, you know, on both men and women. But that the women's side, you mentioned Deonna Purrazzo making her debut on Dynamite, and then Kamille, who I think she had like the 5th longest reign as NWA Women's World Champion. Now she apparently is headed to NXT. You mentioned Julia, who's still the current NJPW Strong Women's Champion. She may be heading to WWE as well. It's a great time. I think it's, you know, that the free agents, we're seeing a whole lot of movement, and that's what makes, you know, that's part of what makes wrestling exciting. We just saw Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, at New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was like, okay, this could be fun. You know, him and David Finlay capturing the global championship. Look, women's wrestling has been on the rise for the last, you know, 2-3 years at least, especially coming out of the pandemic. And I expected to see it get more and more attention. It would not shock me if we have a women's main event on night 1 of WrestleMania. I still think it will be Seth versus whoever for the world title, be it CM Punk or whoever. But it wouldn't shock me if there's a women's main event. You know, there's a couple that, you know, Charlotte Flair out with the knee injury. She just had surgery.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see her till at least after SummerSlam. But there's a lot of great stuff to look forward to. There's a young lady named Maddie Rinkowski, who was one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champions. Worked a lot of the independents here in the state of Texas. Apparently she has signed a deal with NXT, and we may see her debuting soon. It's an exciting time for women's wrestling, and I think we're going to see the evolution of that picture throughout 2024, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and AEW really needed it, and I think Mercedes probably was asking for too much money, but AEW needed her, and getting Deonna Purrazzo in there, that just seriously bolsters the division that desperately needed 2 more big talents. I understand why Trinity is going to WWE. Obviously, her husband's there, and the whole circumstances that were surrounding that. But I don't know if she's going to be as big of an impact player as anybody thinks she is with all the talent that's there. I mean, if somebody said to me, who do you want, Trinity or Jade Cargill? Despite Jade's shortcomings right now, I'm signing Jade Cargill in a heartbeat. Nothing against Trinity, but the future, the ceiling is so high for Jade. I wouldn't even think twice. And I just I just wonder about that. And Jade's, and just thinking about Jade Cargill after getting trained up and then getting her in the ring with a Bianca Belair. Dear Lord. I mean, that's a year-long feud right there.
It is. Trinity Fatu she's had a wonderful run with Impact Wrestling. Of course, they're the current Knockouts World Champion. She rejoins WWE. I think part of it was how Naomi was booked in her previous stint. There, she was. It always felt like she was the second fiddle, whether it was to Sasha Banks or whatever. I'm hoping, and again, we've got to we also have to understand creative is different now.
It is.
You got Triple H with the book. You got, I think there's going to be a difference, and I think that Naomi could be a major player. She is.
There's a simple solution. Put her with a bloodline. Put her with a bloodline. That's it.
I don't agree though, because I think the bloodline needs to dissipate. It needs to be over. Because as I said, the bloodline that thing has jumped the shark. It's time to separate them. Have Solo turn on Roman or whatever, and blow that thing up.
Bye. I'm with it.
And then and just let Naomi, have her battles with Bayley, with Io Sky, with Bianca Belair, you name them. I mean, have her go at it. Have her be in contention for a title, whether it's Io Sky or Rhea Ripley. I would not put her. I wouldn't even think of putting her, with the bloodline. I wouldn't, and I definitely wouldn't put her with her husband, because we've seen how those tend to kind of they fall a little bit short. So I would say just let them do their own storylines and leave it be.
Fair enough. We'll agree to disagree on that.